what is the labyrinth? Something like that.
What is the labyrinth?
As I understand it, it's right. That's my interview voice, so we'll just keep talking.
Aye, just keep talking. Yeah.
What is a labyrinth? It's a very old way of having a sort of spiritual journey, I guess. I first heard about maybe about 15, 20 years ago when I was in a counselling group, and somebody mentioned down in Dundee there's a labyrinth that is on a carpet, and once a month, I think, last Thursday in the month or something, they bring the carpet out and roll it out, and people come and walk the labyrinth, and it's like what do you call a spiritual journey? Pilgrimage.
Pilgrimage, yeah.
That the idea of a pilgrimage, going to Canterbury or whatever, wasn't to get to Canterbury.
No.
It wasn't. There was great things happening there. It was
Although
the
it might
journey.
have been great things.
That might have been, yeah. But it was a journey and the opportunity to sort of think spiritually and such like.
Right.
So the labyrinth puts a journey, and then you walk it as a journey, not to get to the end, but to walk in. It's very similar then to meditation.
So it's like a mindful walk.
Yeah,
something like that, yeah.
That's right. Mindful walk, mindful movement, meditation walk. The thing in Zen called Pinyin, which was sitting meditation, walking meditation, and it's just a structure, I guess, for doing that. And the one up at the Burn, I think we came across that, didn't we?
Yeah, a few years ago.
A few years ago. I can't remember why we were there. But
I think I was thinking of looking for landscape designs for part of my previous work. Things to use.
That's right. Yeah, the landscaping, the hospital grounds.
That's right.
Yeah.
We never got to build it, but it was a. I think it was. Yeah, we were looking for ideas to landscape upgrade the old hospital grounds.
Saying it that way sounds a very professional, very proper thing to be doing, but as I recall, what you were trying to do was humanise the grounds of the old asylum.
Yes. Yeah.
It wasn't, an architect's programme or a draftsman's programme.
No.
It was very much your vision of putting those grounds, that place that for a century had been closed off to the public, as the mental hospital, how to open that up and make it not a special place to visit, but just make it part of rural Fife.
And it was part of the interest that developed, and the interest I developed in mindfulness and mindfulness-based cognitive therapy and mindfulness-based stress reduction as a treatment method for mental distress, to encourage people to become present, and giving them a structure, because that was one of the things that and now thinking about it, the labyrinth gives you a structure to your walk, if you like, to walk sort of through the labyrinth towards the centre, not to get to the centre, but to kind of take part and participate in the walk itself. And it's a bit like meditation. What's the point of meditation? Isn't to get to the end of it. It's the doing of it in itself. And I think that's where it fitted in with the grounds thing, was trying to introduce some reflective, mindful structure to the place. And I think the issue we had was the ground was boggy, and we were going to have to bring in huge lorries, loads of gravel to stabilise the ground so it didn't flood. So I think that's why it became problematic. But so we did other things. We made nature walks, and we did gardens and various other things, which had a similar thing. Nature walk is to be present.
And I think that's one of the things that underpins or underrides a lot of these ideas, is that what you're doing is for itself. It's not for an end.
Yes.
You know, like walking that labyrinth today, you didn't actually go anywhere. You finished up after a fairly long walk, maybe 3 meters away from where you started.
Like that. Yeah.
But it was the engaging in it, the engaging in something other than trying to manipulate your environment. Sitting isn't good for anything. You sit, you breathe, you focus on your breathing, then you get up. You've done it.
Yeah.
What have you achieved? And in that context, you've not achieved anything. If you feel that, you know, yes, I've done something, you've probably been doing it wrong.
Well, so a lot of people say, when you talk about meditation, they say, what am I trying to do? Well, you're not trying to do anything other than the simple act. That's like with the labyrinth. What are you trying to do? Well, I'm walking with no particular purpose. You know, you're not trying to walk to somewhere. You're not walking for no reason. You're walking just for the act of walking. And the labyrinth gives you a kind of contemplative structure to that walk, just to, because you could walk across a field, but the labyrinth gives you something to follow, I suppose, a structure, and I suppose that's what a meditation does. It gives mindfulness a structure in a way.
It puts some scaffolding around it.
It does, yeah.
And I mean, I suppose it strikes me that you were talking about the grounds in the hospital, and that was, you approached that in a mindful or in a solution oriented way, in that you said, what would be useful here? Well, let's have a labyrinth. And so we checked out some labyrinths, and you were going to put a labyrinth in, and then the technicians, the engineers said, I'll sync. So you had a choice there. I said, right, okay, so we need to put, drill down and put stockpile down there and a concrete base and such like, or, okay, so what about a woodland walk? You know, it's not imposing your will on stuff. It's about interacting with what's happening, and change and sort of co-construction, pliability.
Yeah, it was like what would the solution we were looking for was a structured, mindful experience walk, and we got it the other way with the woodland walk. You know, it was kind of, we put up signs and various things to lead people around the walk. So it was similar. It didn't feel quite so mystical or spiritual. You know, the labyrinth has that kind of sense of a ritual space that you maybe don't get so much with a woodland walk or another kind of walk, but the ritual enclosure of that labyrinth kind of gives you a space to carry out the ritual, I suppose.
But that's just a perception, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it was a bunch of rocks.
Yes, it was.
And you know, it can help, but it can also hinder.
Yes.
Because if you get into the notion that you can only do a mindful walk, a spiritual walk, in a layout of stones or in a particular woodland walk or whatever, you're completely missing the point. You can do it in your nearest large supermarket.
It's like one of the things I used to say to people about meditation was that, you know, they should try meditating in difficult places rather than on their comfortable cushion with their curtains shut, but, you know, practice meditation when it's not easy, right, in a difficult place. So I suppose the labyrinth makes that easier, but try having a mindful walk down one of the main high streets when it's busy, you know. Not necessarily every time, because it's not always that. You know, you don't want to make hard work for yourself. Yeah.
But it was enjoyable today. I was quite surprised that I mean, it's what, 3 miles from where I live, and that's the second time I've been there.
Yes.
And we were going along.
I mean, you don't spend days.
Actually, I have to admit, I don't spend every other day walking around.
I was under an illusion, Stephen.
Us Buddhists do that all the time. No, I'm too busy floating. Yeah, I mean, we drove along and through the village and such like, and I had no real expectations, which was probably helpful. But when we got there, really what I expected was to get thrown off the land.
Yeah, we were a wee bit concerned about filming on this space, so we had to be quite discreet about it.
Thank you, Lord and Lady.
Yes. We had to look at people just like we were people just doing selfies, but yeah, we were able to still
actually we were people just doing selfies.
We were people just doing selfies, but we were able to set the camera up and just let it roll, and yeah.